Hey everybody, so today we're going to talk about Polaroid SX70 and why I absolutely love these particular cameras. I've been an absolute instant photography junkie since the late 90s, and I've owned dozens and dozens and dozens of different Polaroid cameras and Instax cameras for the works that I make. But the SX70 design of the camera is just absolutely a beautiful work of art. And this particular camera I have in my hands is an SX70 Alpha 1 that I had modified by the Brooklyn Film Camera Company to be 600 speed. So it no longer shoots the SX70 film, it's using this 600 speed film that has the battery on the inside. And I love this camera. I use this camera an awful lot for my work. However, there are perhaps better options and a really great new option that's just on the market. So without further ado, what is that great new option? It's this. I just got this today from MiNT. Now, I've done a lot of work with MiNT cameras over the years. I think their modifications, which I'll get into a little bit, that they do to the SX70s are quite brilliant. But what this camera does that I've never seen in any other SX70 style camera is that built in, not an add-on, but built in, there's an additional 3 millimeters of space, and it's very elegant how they did it, of a lithium-ion battery. And it's rechargeable on the back by a USB-C, and it has an indicator light of how much power you have. Why is that important? It's important because this camera can shoot all of the iType films, whether it's SX70 or the 600 speed, and it can also shoot all of the original films that have the battery incorporated. So this one camera can kind of shoot all of the Polaroid square materials that are on the market. And I think that's really big. A lot of times when I travel, I don't like to carry too much film with me, especially now that Polaroid film is available like at Walmarts and Targets and stuff like that. It's convenient to buy as I need when I travel. But a problem that I've noticed is that not all stores have the integral battery version. Some stores only have the iType or the other type. So by buying this camera, I can use anything that I find at any store. And that's huge. And there's also some big advantages to this new iType system. If you've never worked with a MiNT camera, the modifications that they do to the camera are extensive and expensive. This particular camera comes with a 5-year warranty. That's kind of unprecedented, by the way. I mean, no one gives a 5-year warranty, especially on a camera from the 70s. This is an Alpha 1, and the current name for this particular camera is the SL670X Ming Edition iType. So in addition to adding the integral lithium-ion rechargeable battery, it also has an entirely new circuit board on the inside that's been modernized to work better with the current Polaroid materials. I also had this camera upgraded where I took out the split image viewfinder and I had the original ground glass put back on the inside. That's what Dr. Land wanted in this camera when he first created it, and I think he was right. The engineers convinced him to put a split screen. I prefer just the ground glass, nothing to get in the way. One of the real advantages, though, to the Ming type cameras and the MiNT cameras just in general is this little device right here. This is what's called the time machine. The time machine, when plugged into the port on top, which traditionally was used for flash cubes, allows you to control the camera in a completely manual way. So on the top of the time machine, you have an A100 and an A600 setting. That's right here. That's A100 and that's A600. The A100 is for SX70 film. The A600 is for 600 speed film. It also has an offsetting, and then it has 16 different shutter speeds going from bulb all the way out to a 2,000th of a second. When you lock the time machine into the top of the camera, it locks the f-stop of the camera at f8. So everything is at f8. So you can use your handheld light meter or light meter on your phone, meter a scene for the ISO that you have, and then manually dial in the shutter speeds. That's super cool. It allows you to compensate for backlight, side light, if you want to do longer exposures. All of that now puts it at full manual control. Now, this was something that previous versions of the MiNT cameras had. But additionally, this camera has a port on the side for a 2.5 millimeter mini jack. This allows you to plug this into studio strobes. So I can also use this in a studio environment, which I think is just really great. One other thing that I really like is the long exposures. Most SX70 cameras at about 30 seconds or so, I think it's 30 seconds, shut off. This thing goes all the way out to forever. There's no limit to how long the lens can be open. So if you want to do a 2, 3, 4 hour night exposure, absolutely possible. I find using the ground glass is really simple to focus. Camera, like all SX70s, focuses down to 10 inches. Really quick and really simple. Now, if you don't have the time machine in the top, the camera defaults to a modified SX70 for 600 speed film. So in this mode right here is designed for 600 speed film. The moment I pop the time machine in, I have my choice of, do I want to do it completely manual, just set the ISO, or once again go to the A100 or A600 setting. I was really excited when I saw this camera, when I heard about it, and it blows me away how good the finish is. They absolutely matched the finish of the original camera. The leather work, everything on it is absolutely top notch. It is not inexpensive. I will come right out and say that. However, it's a one-time purchase. That's how I see it. This camera, going forward, if you're dedicated working with Polaroid material, just gives you the most flexibility. You're not stuck with having to make decisions of, can I get iType film? Can I get 600 speed film with the integral battery? Am I going to use SX7? Am I going to use 600? It's all in this one setup. And I love the fact that you can interchangeably switch. So right now I've got iType film in here. And I could, when the iType film pops in or is over, I can just stick in some regular integral battery 600. There's no switches or anything I need to touch. It automatically just uses the battery. How great is that? So I purchased it because I wanted, and by the way, I purchased this. I'm in no way, shape, or form being sponsored, endorsed, or anything by MiNT. This is all out of my pocket. I purchased it because I wanted the flexibility of options, especially when traveling. If I'm traveling all across the United States or Europe, you never know what you're going to run into. And this just gave me the most flexibility between the internal battery, any of the different films. I love the ground glass focus. It's so clean. And I just love absolutely everything about it. And I'm going to do more posts on this camera and some compare and contrast posts over the next couple of days. I just wanted to get out sort of the basic information about it. I think this is like literally one of the very first ones on the street. So thank you very much for listening. Stay tuned for more posts and have a nice day.